Welcome to the Red One U podcast, brought to you by Ellen's. Tommy Daniels here, and we're excited to have along with us today the ECHL goaltender of the week, Antoine Bibeau. We'll get his story coming up next. Welcome to the Red One U podcast. Tommy Daniels here, and of course, are brought to you by our great partner, Ellen's. And joining us, the Warrior Hockey ECHL goalie of the week, Antoine Bibeau. What a performance by you last week, my friend.
Thank you. I felt really good. But the team played 4 really good games, even the game that I didn't play. Labs played a really good game. I think it's a step in the right direction for us.
It is, no doubt. We've really turned the corner here over the last few weeks, 8-2 in our last 10 games. What do you think the biggest difference is?
I think it's just playing the right way. I think we have all the pieces here. We have the skill. I think it's just playing the right way, playing good defensively. And like I said, we have some skill players, so we know we can score some goals. So when we play the right way, good things happen.
You know, fans have been obviously very excited about what you've done. And Steve Martinson talked about when you signed, with the Americans and were assigned here by Seattle from Charlotte. You said you're going to be the best goaltender in this league. So no pressure right there from the very beginning, but you've lived up to that. It seems like whenever you're in net, you can kind of almost feel that confidence oozing from you, all the big saves you made. It's almost like when you're in net, we feel like we're going to win every game.
That's the goal. Obviously, every time I'm in net, the goal is to win, but I'm just trying to keep things simple, not get ahead of myself, go one day at a time, one period at a time. And then when I'm playing, help the team, obviously by making the saves, but even just by talking to my defensemen, by talking to the guys, just in general, helping the guys any way I can. And same thing when I'm not playing, if I see something, whether it's with Labs or whether it's with the defensemen, then I just talk to them and I really, just try to win every game.
What did you know about Allen, Texas before you came here?
I didn't know a whole lot. I played in Austin and I've been to Dallas, but I've never been here. But no, it's great. It's been great so far.
When you found out, obviously, that you were coming here, and I know we talked about players or talk to players about this all the time, especially guys who were on two-way contracts and obviously, you want to be playing at the American Hockey League level and eventually get to the NHL. That's your goal. We had Aaron Dell here back in 2013. He won a championship. Now he's, been up in the American Hockey League and then to the NHL. How do you, when you view that, you find out you're going to the ECHL? Some guys look at that as, hey, I think I belong in the American League. What were your thoughts when you found out you were coming to Allen?
Well, to be honest, my goal obviously is to play in the NHL or play in the American League. So, but I kind of had a feeling when I signed with Seattle that it might happen just with the situation and everything. So obviously it didn't catch me off guard since I already knew it was a possibility. But at the end of the day, we're all professional. You come down here and there's no point just having a bad attitude or not working. Like I said, I'm here now. I'm trying to do everything I can to help the team and get myself better every day also. And then good thing happens when you just stay positive. And there's not a whole lot you can do, to be honest. Sometimes players overthink everything. I'm trying not to do that.
You played in the NHL a couple games a few years ago with Colorado. What was that like? What was the biggest difference? What is it like when you step out there on the ice and you see, NHL players skating around with you? What are you feeling like in your head?
Everything's a bit faster. I got lucky in a sense where the games I play, everything happened pretty quickly. When I was up with Colorado, I was hurt right before going up, so everything wasn't really planned, and then I wasn't even supposed to play. Next thing you know, I did play. And then same kind of thing when I played with Toronto a few years ago, everything kind of happened quickly. So I guess the best thing for me was I wasn't overthinking. I was really just having fun out there, and everything went really well. But the guys are so good, and obviously they work great with me. They help me out. They helped me get comfortable right away. So that helped me a ton.
I can't imagine what that must have been like. Take us back to draft night when you find out you're drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs. What's going on through your head there?
Oh, pretty excited. I mean, I didn't get drafted my first year of eligibility. So second year, I was at the draft. I had a good season the year before. So we knew there was a possibility I could get drafted, but you never know when draft day comes. You never know. Some guys get drafted higher than it should have been. Some guys just slip. But I went with my whole family, and yeah, getting drafted by the Leafs was pretty incredible.
You always hear, and I don't know, you can maybe tell us if this is true or not. You always hear that, at least by these so-called draft experts and the guys on TSN who break it down, they always say, well, goalies develop slower. Sometimes the forwards, defensemen, quicker to make it to the big time. Is that true?
I think so. And I don't think it's necessarily the hockey part of it, like the skills. I think if I go back to when I was 20 years old, I was playing in the American League, doing well, and maybe at that point I thought I was ready to play in NHL. But I think for any goalie, when you move to pro, sometimes it's not necessarily the skills. It's just you're not used to playing 82 games with that amount of pressure in the NHL, and I think it's the mental side that takes a bit more time to get mature mentally, if I could say.
Absolutely.
I really think that's the part. I think the skills and the mental side is a bit easier maybe on the forward and the defenseman. Maybe that's why it's quicker. But yeah, it takes a bit longer. You don't see goalie that are 20, 21 or 19. You don't see too many of them in the NHL.
Did you have a hero growing up? Who was somebody that you kind of emulated your game after?
Not really. I mean, Patrick Roy was the guy for me growing up. He's from Quebec, and he was winning the Stanley Cup with Colorado. So, yeah, he was the guy. Other than that, I mean, I've always been a big Carey Price fan. The last few years, he's as good as it gets.
Were you a Habs fan growing up?
A little bit, not a diehard, but yeah, a little bit.
So, what's the best thing I hear from all the guys, at least the Costellos and those guys, that how much this team likes each other, how much fun they have in the room, how the guys, really get along. What is it about this room that makes this team special?
I think you just said it. Everyone's really close. Everyone cares about each other. So it always helps a lot when team have good chemistry. You can do great things, even if sometimes you play in a team that doesn't have the skilled player or something. If your team chemistry is there, it's always really special. And I think this team has it, and we kind of proved it a bit last weekend with those 4 games. Everyone was really close, and just the crowd on Friday night it was insane. It was cool to watch. So I think those 4 games and that post Christmas break week really brought us even closer.
If you're not playing hockey on an off night, what would we find you doing?
Not a whole lot. I'll be on the couch watching TV. That's about it. Yeah, I don't do a whole lot. I like to go golfing sometimes if the schedule allow it, but other than that, yeah, I don't do a whole lot.
What's the your best score ever carded without a mulligan?
79, I think. But
Wow.
That was a one-time thing. I'm not that good.
Well, I would imagine, what, you're 6'5", right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have a pretty long wingspan. I bet you can drive that ball. If you got a good driver out there, I bet you can hit that ball a mile.
I can, but I can also hit it 10 yards. Inconsistent, but yeah, it's a work in progress.
If you're home and you're just cooking something that night, what's your go-to? What you look like a guy that might be a kind of a closet chef. You might have some good secrets there we don't know about. What do you make it?
I'm not too bad, but I'm not gonna lie. I don't cook a whole lot. My wife's the chef. She's really good in the kitchen, and she likes to cook. So I'm lucky that way. But yeah, personally, it'd be some pizza or pasta probably if I had to cook.
You're in Texas now. Would you own a cowboy hat or cowboy boots?
I would for sure. Yeah, probably the hat, not the boots, but I'd love a hat.
I'll tell you what, it sure is fun to watch the games, to call your games. Is there a good nickname? Is there something over the years? Anybody? What's a good nickname for you?
Just Beebs.
Beebs.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, it's been fun. Obviously I wish I could be on the road with you guys. That's been one of the tough things about the last couple of years with the pandemic, is not being on the road with the boys and traveling up and down in the bus. But you're sure a lot of fun to watch play. Incredible out there. And I know that you're not going to be in this league very long. You obviously have a great future ahead of you. Thanks a lot, Antoine. I appreciate it. And congratulations on being the Warrior Hockey ECHL Goaltender of the Week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Get sunshine for the whole squad at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Welcome to the Red, White, and You podcast, brought to you by Ellen's. Tommy Daniels here, and what an honor it is to have former Ice Angel and Mrs. America for 2021. You know her. You've seen that face around the arena many, many times, and heard her sing the national anthem most recently, Miss Brooklyn Rivera. How are you?
I am wonderful, Tommy. Thank you again for having me. I love doing this podcast with you. It's like our little time to catch up and fill each other in on all the things that are going on. And man, is there a lot going on right now?
You know, I'm so excited. And of course, tomorrow night is the big night. Is it Mrs. World? I want to make sure I get that right.
Yes, Mrs. World. It is the biggest, best, most prestigious title there is in Mrs. Pageantry. A lot of people are familiar with Miss Universe. Well, Mrs. World is the equivalent of that. So I am competing against women from across the globe. So I get, the privilege of wearing this pretty thing and having Mrs. America across my chest, but I am competing against Costa Rica and Brazil and Guam and Japan. Like, it's amazing. And it's hard to put into words what this experience has been like.
Well, you know what, first of all, before we even move on to your next big accomplishment in your life I've got all the faith in the world you're going to win this, especially, how you just dominated there in that Mrs. America. And, I got to ask you, because I know you got a chance to do so many cool things last year. One of the things that I was, me, I love sports, and I saw you got a chance to sing the national anthem at the Atlanta Braves game. And I thought that was so cool. But just take us through your ride of 2021, which was a tough enough year to live.
Right.
But you had an amazing year in being Mrs. America.
They call us COVID queens, but I just call us a queen because a queen can find a way and make a way to pretty much do anything. And I had an extremely busy 9 months so far as Mrs. America 2021. I've done over 40 appearances in person, that is appearances. And like you mentioned, I did get to do something that made my childhood heart burst. I am the hugest Atlanta Braves fan. That's where I was born. And I am a big fan of Chipper Jones. And I was asked to come sing the national anthem at a home game at Truett Field. And Chipper Jones was there watching me sing and said he liked me. So day made. We also did, that was an extremely fun and memorable event. I got to bring my daughter as well and 10 of my family members from Georgia. Wow. But my husband's employee also was able to donate over $10,000 to I advocate for the 22 Kill One Tribe, and I champion them. They're my platform. So we've done things like that. We've walked the streets of Dallas with the One Tribe for Carry the Load. There's so many memorable experiences that I got to do with my family, with Mrs. America across my chest. It's a memory I'll hold forever.
So give us, I know this is going to be tough because you got to do so many neat things last year, but give us your top five things that happened to you in 2021.
Top 5 things as Mrs. America that happened. Definitely, yes. I would say the Memorial Day One Tribe Carry the Load walk, because my family was with me. Singing at the Atlanta Braves, hearing my voice echo across that, that was a big one. Getting to crown a new Mrs. America. So that's the interesting thing, is because of COVID, there will actually be 2 Mrs. Americas competing at Mrs. World. So I am competing because there wasn't a 21 Mrs. World pageant, and the 2022 Mrs. America is competing as well. There can only be one winner, but there's 2 of us going. So getting to crown my successor was a highlight. Working with my sponsors and being able to come back home to the Allen Americans, where I call that arena my home place. Spending 4 years there, 4 championship years there,
Yes.
I add, was a true highlight. And then also being able to MC the Out of the Darkness walk in the DFW. That was over 2,000 people in attendance, and they raised over $700,000, which is mind blowing.
Did you get a chance to do, or was the opportunity out there at all to do any like the Kelly Clarkson show or any of those late night shows?
You know, so I didn't do a show, but I did get to go back to Vegas this summer, and I was a host and got to interview some of my like fangirl moment celebrities, which were NSYNC, the Backstreet Boys, and 98 Degrees. Yes,
No way.
They all came together to do a charity, pretty much a charity concert for Victoria's Voice, which is the nonprofit that Mrs. America champions. And I got to interview Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC. We just sat down on the couch. I talked to him. Now listen, they're in their late 40s, almost 50. Some of them actually I think are 50, but I didn't care. In my head, they were 20 and in their prime singing Bye, Bye, Bye. And that was when I was like, wow, I just got to do that. That's pretty cool. And he was like saying that I was cool. And I was like, wow, this is a whole new experience. So I did get to do things like that. A couple morning shows for local news stations, interviewed by the press for newspapers, my hometown, just a lot of cool things. And I'm hoping that this isn't the end. I'm hoping that I'll trade in this sash and get another job promotion and be able to continue this journey for one more year.
Well, shame on you, Jimmy Fallon, for missing this opportunity.
Right?
I will never,
Jimmy, come on.
I will never watch your show again because it's just, and Ryan Seacrest too. Why didn't you have Brooklyn on? I mean, for goodness sakes.
No, they're waiting to see if I get the upgrade this weekend.
Well,
right?
that would be just unbelievable. And again, that is tomorrow night, folks.
Yes.
Brooklyn, let's do it a couple times, but if people, and I know they do, I know our hardcore fans are going to want to tune in and watch you win this. So how can they watch?
Absolutely. So I would love nothing more than to have all of the Heart of Texas, America, and everyone across the globe to tune in January 15th, tomorrow night, Saturday at 5 p.m. PST. So if you're local Central Time, that's 7, and you can find the link on mrsworld.com. So there will be a pay-per-view link. You can sign up for it, stream it on your TVs, do a big watch party, and cheer really, really loud for the one that says America across your chest.
Below Zero Cryo, whole body cryotherapy stimulates the body's natural healing abilities through exposure to extreme cold. Cryotherapy was developed in Japan in 1978 as a treatment for rheumatoid arthritis. Over the past 3 decades, it's become even more popular as its performance-enhancing and general health and wellness benefits have become more well-known. Call Below Zero Cryo for an appointment today. 469-362-8191. Below Zero Cryo is located at 8715 Lebanon Road, Suite 400 in Frisco. So what are some of the things that you're going to have to do tomorrow night? I mean, obviously, you always see the girls getting interviewed and they ask them certain questions, but can you give us any kind of a rundown on what you think might happen?
Yeah, so the competition is made up of 3 different categories, which is interview, swimsuit, and evening gown. Interview weighing the most at 50% of your score. So during interview, they're looking for poise, beauty, articulation, and just basically someone that they would really want to be friends with and want to represent this globe. And then of course, swimsuit, it's about fitness. And then evening gown is again, that poise and beauty and grace, and then how you just carry yourself on stage. So they will cut to the top 15. That 15 will compete in swim and gown. Then it gets cut to 6. 6 get an on-stage random question. It's cut to 3. The 3 get another question. And then we crown a new Mrs. World.
So what do you think it was about Mrs. America 2021 in that question, as you say, that's 50%. What do you think separated you from the rest of the girls in that question on how you answered it?
Tommy, that's a great question because I was standing with some of the most amazing women in the United States on that stage. But for me, I wanted to represent my true, authentic self. I spoke from my heart and I was able to share what I truly was passionate about and what I knew I would continue to be passionate about throughout my year. So I didn't want to say what I thought they wanted to hear because you can win by doing that, but then you have to continue to do that your entire reign. And that's not fun. So for me, I wanted to win it because it was right for me and they loved me. So I love to talk, and that was why I loved being an ice angel so much, is because I got to interact with the fans so closely. And I just stood on that stage and I said, you know what, this is kind of like me talking to a friend right now, instead of talking to thousands and thousands of people watching and in person, and then 5 judges who are pretty much picking my fate right then.
And you said Mrs. World is comparable to Miss Universe, right? I mean,
yes. So essentially, it is the same thing except for we're all married.
Yeah.
The requirement is just 18 and married. I, of course, am a little older than 18.
Not much.
Got quite a few kiddos as well in tow. I feel like you should get extra points in swimsuit for each kid, but yeah, so it's definitely comparable because it is a showcase of all the countries. We also do a fun category that is not judged for winning purposes, but you get a specialty points for costume. So I will have a country costume as well that I'll be competing in.
Now, is there a certain number, like, during your reign as Mrs. America, do they tell you, okay, you have to do X amount of appearances, or you're on call? I mean, how much notice, if something comes up, how much notice do they give you, or do they already have a schedule planned out for the year?
That is a really good thing about Mrs. America, is they understand that you are a wife. Majority of the women are mothers. I myself have 3 small little kiddos, and I am a full-time out of the house working mom at that too. I help run a multi-million-dollar e-commerce boutique. So I'm busy, but they do expect you to use your sash and crown. There is no set minimum. They would hope that you would do as much as possible, but I had, for the Atlanta Braves, for them, I had about a 48-hour notice to get from Texas to Georgia, and it was actually the day after the Carry the Load event, so the Memorial Day event here in Dallas. So I took a nighttime flight. We got in at like 1 a.m. and then I sang that night at 7 p.m. and then I was on a flight back home for 24 hours, and then I was right back into Vegas. So that like 10 days in June was insane, but I'm blessed that I have lots of family support, a great career that supports me, and they're cheering me on and hoping that I can get to continue to do this.
Are you friends now with Nick Lachey on Snapchat?
You know what? I don't like to name drop and talk about things, but
oh, please do. I love it.
No, but Chris Kirkpatrick does follow me now, so that's pretty cool. So he's now my new favorite.
That is absolutely awesome. Well, and again, that is coming up tomorrow night. One more time, give the address where you can go and watch this.
Yes, so tune in to mrsworld.com. There will be a tickets link for the live pay-per-view of the show, 5 p.m. PST, so 7 p.m. Central. And I hope to make America and Texas and the Allen Americans proud. Well,
you got this. No doubt. You were awesome as Mrs. America. We're proud of you, not to mention the fact just because, we've known each other for about 10 years or maybe a little bit longer.
This summer will be 10 years, Tommy. I just think, how old is my daughter? Subtract 1 year. So she's turning 11. She was 1 when I joined the family. And yeah,
she was a baby.
We were brand new to Texas. So the Americans kind of taught me how to Texas.
Well, we're proud of you.
Dance, how to Texas, all the things. And I never want to not be a part of a season. So I'll be back anytime you need me to sing or MC or whatever. I'm there. Play. Hey, if you're down a player, I can skate. So.
Hey, one last thing, just for, if there's any young fans out there watching, who would love to do what you've done. And obviously it's, the odds are not good, but that's why I always tell people follow your dream, because you never know. Right. But if you were going to give some advice to a young girl out there, maybe a young dancer, gymnast, whatever, who would love to do or be in your shoes, what advice would you give them?
I would say to do it scared. No matter what your goal is, the biggest thing that you should be afraid of is living a life unfulfilled and leaving your talents and gifts unopened. So get yourself out there, do it anyways, do it scared, and I guarantee you'll never regret trying.
That's awesome. Well, we're proud of you. Can't wait until tomorrow night. This is amazing. 2 Mrs. America is going to be competing in the same competition. You're better. No disrespect to that girl, but you're better. And obviously you got it done the first time. This is a big step, and get it. And then I can't wait to get you on. We can see a new crown.
We'll see. So hopefully the next time I won't just have a sash, I'll have my crown and a new sash for you. So fingers crossed, Tommy. And thank you so much for having me on this evening.
Awesome. Mrs. America, former Ice Angel, tomorrow night. Could it possibly be? Tune in and find out. The one and only Brooklyn Rivera.
Hello, Americans fans. Former American defenseman Nolan Dakota here with a message from Fast Signs in Plano. Both Plano locations are independently owned and operated by myself and are proud partners with the Americans for this season and the Americans Drive for 5. At Fast Signs, we understand the burden this difficult time presents on businesses, and helping you to solve your changing visual communication and business challenges is our commitment. Mention this ad when you call Fast Signs in Plano for 10% off your next order. Fast Signs, more than fast, more than signs.